Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to Prison Life 11, and I'm your host, JR. This channel is gonna be talking about some pretty deep things. It's gonna be letting it be known how people end up getting to prison, how they land up getting themselves into a bad gang situation, the way the life is in prison for people who go in that decide to allow themselves to be weak, that and then also for those who decide that they're gonna have a higher place in the totem pole, higher place in the prison, the way the inmates look at them, the way the guards look at them. And for today, for this episode, I'm gonna go on ahead and I'm gonna give you guys a little preview into the life I lived prior to incarceration. Um, I was raised in a family that we didn't have too much. We had abuse and my mother and father not really getting along well, which turned into cheating. And I was at that time I was the third youngest and the only boy, and I was always around my father, who was at that time he was a high end shot caller for the gang he was from, and all I did was see him and his friends in our little. We had a little back house, and in that back house, my dad and his friends would be standing on the bed and constantly tagging up the walls, leaving their gang marks and everything that they were into at that time: drinking, smoking, PCP, crack, everything else that they were into. And this led into me and the second oldest of my siblings, my sister. It turned into me and her uh, getting addicted at a very young age, getting supplied by her parents crack cocaine and all those type of things. Which turned into smoking and prostitution and all that type of stuff. Anyhow, it landed up turning towards abuse and neglect of the children. And so I would see me and my sisters getting beat up with Fisher Price pool table pool sticks and getting chased into closets and put on our knees and time out on top of rice so that we could learn what it felt like to know what real pain was. So if we didn't act right, we knew what was coming our way. And this led to making my little young mind more and more and more and more aggressive and violent. And anyhow, my grandmother, rest in peace, landed up saving my life from that situation. She landed up taking me away and raising me with her and my grandfather, rest in peace. The both of them passed away. And what happened was that during my time being raised, I was also allowing myself to get dragged into the gang community. And the gang that I landed up getting dragged into was at what we call war. We were at war with another gang. We were in a neighborhood that wasn't our own, and we were trying to make it our own. So we had to go to war to claim that area. And this led to multiple gang shootings and multiple people who in my life meant something amazing to me. And one day I had drunk myself into a big stupor. Mind you, I was very, very young at this time. I was just about to turn 13. And to my grandmother's house, there was a screen before the big wooden door. And all of a sudden I heard a banging on the screen, and like I said, I was in a drunken stupor. I was hearing through the drunkenness. I was hearing through the way your mind kind of goes in a wave when you're very, very, very drunk. And my grandmother was next to me. I was on the couch. She was next to me. At this time, she had already been put on hospice. At that time, I didn't understand what hospice was. And she was on her wheelchair, sitting next to me on the couch. She was in her wheelchair. I was laying on the couch. She was sitting next to me in her wheelchair watching. At that time, they had the old school click TVs that you click the knob to change the channel. She was watching what was KNAT channel 23 Christian channel. And all of a sudden, I hear a knock and a big crash, and I hear a scream. I fight my way out of my drunken stupor, and I open my eyes to see my grandmother laying on the floor in a big thing of liquid red blood. So I go running to the door. I go running to the door, and I'm trying to make my way out. I'm fumbling with it. I'm fumbling with the doorknob, and like I said, it's a wooden door, and then there's a screen door. So I get that open, and then I push it on the screen. I can't get that open, so I fall through the screen. I fall completely through the screen door, and one of my good friends, who was my across the street neighbor, he's seen them driving away on their bicycle. He pulls out his Super Sport Impala and yells at me to get in. I get in, and we speed off after him. We speed off after him. We're swerving. We're following them and trying to do things that wouldn't allow them to make it to the next day. And so we keep following them, and they separate. One of them separates and goes deeper into the center of the neighborhood where their friends were the majority, where they had the majority of their clique at their gang, and the other one allowed himself to go more towards the area closer to the Little League Park where we had our area, where we had the majority of our friends. So my friend swerves off and follows the one chasing him deeper into our neighborhood. So we get him over there, and we have him cornered, and things ain't going his way. You understand? So my friend told me, the one that had driven off and went in the Super Sport, he told me, he said, get back to your house. He said it sounded like something wasn't okay in the house. I heard your grandmother scream. Excuse me, I had to pause real quick because there was some interruptions out there. Anyhow, so like I was saying, my friend told me, he said it sounded like something happened in your house. I heard your grandmother scream. He said, we got this handled. Get back to your family, to where you need to be, and we'll handle this. So I started walking back away from the Little League Park and heading back up towards my grandmother's house to see what had happened and how everything was. I was such a